want to learn the song Seasons. It's pretty simple, straightforward. Really, this lesson is going to be divided up into two parts. Part one is going to be the finger picking part, which is probably a good 90% of the song. That's that part that I just played a second ago. It goes through the vast majority of the song. Never changes. The second part is going to be the strumming, which comes in with, you know, the heavy guitars and everything like that. And that is going to be very similar to the finger picking, but it's just a slight tweak to make it more open, more full chords, really. So there's two things we need to know to start out with. Number one is your guitar needs to be in standard tuning. So that's your E, A, D, G, B, E tuning. Second is you need one of these guys, a capo, on the 2nd fret. Okay? Now, everything I'm going to tell you as far as finger placement and all that is going to be relative to where your capo's at. So, for example, the first finger placement is going to be right here on the A string, which without the capo, that would be on the 4th fret. But the way I'm going to communicate it is the 2nd fret. And I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to shorten everything just like we were playing it without the capo. So, first things first. The majority of this song is finger picked. So if you're not comfortable with that, you're going to need to work on that first. But that being said, it's a pretty easy song. So if you need a song to work on it with, this would probably be a good one to start with. So first thing, take that index finger, put it on your 2nd fret of the A string. Just like there, right there. Second is your ring finger. Your ring finger is going to go right here on the 4th fret of your D string. So it's like a B power chord, basically. Just like that. And what you're going to do is you're going to, if you could strum it, you hear it? Right there. So the way this works is the finger picking goes, scoot a little closer here for you so you can see it. You're going to start with the open E string right there. And then you're going to go to that 2nd fret A string and just, now instead of going all the way up, you're actually going to skip this string and go on to the G string and play that open. I'm sorry, right there. So it's going to sound like this. See that? Just like that, okay? And then the next part is a little walk up here. So you do that. That's going to be your full part. Before you make any changes on this chord, you're doing just like that. And then you do a little walk up. And what that looks like is you do index finger, 2nd fret of the E string, and move that up to the 3rd fret of the E string. That sounds like this. That's the only part that changes on that first half. So I'm going to play it for you again, real slow. This time, watch my fingers up here, okay? And I'm going to play it one more time and move it up so you can see which strings that I'm hitting and when I'm hitting them. So here is what your left hand is going to be doing. And I'll play it nice and slow for you, so hopefully you can catch everything. Okay, that is left hand. Right hand looks a little something like this. Okay? So in real time, it's going to look like this. Okay? Now the next part is you're going to take your index finger and go to the 3rd fret, and your ring finger is going to go to the 5th fret, which is basically going to be like a C power chord. And you're going to your finger picking is going to be a little bit different because you're basically moving everything back a string. So your highest string you're going to hit in this case is going to be the B string, and that's going to be your open string. So what that looks like is, and I know 2 of those are the same notes. I mean, as long as your guitar's in tune, 2 of those should be the same note. But it just hitting the separate strings just adds a little bit of consistency in your finger picking. Trust me, it'll sound fine all together. It just sounds like this, right? So here's the strings up close and personal. One more time. Okay, and that's what that looks like right here. And instead of a walk up like you did at the beginning, you're going to do a little walk down. Okay, so it looks like this. You're going to take that index finger and move it down to the 2nd fret, and then after that you're going to take that same index finger and just put it on the 2nd fret of the D string. Okay, which makes kind of like an A chord. Okay, and that's the only finger that you need down at that point. And that walk down, nice and slow, is going to look like this. Okay, and then your right hand is going to look like this. Again, I'll play it nice and slow for you so you can catch everything. Okay, so let's put those together. I'm going to play it nice and slow since we're already showing you the strings right here. I'll stick on this cam, and then we'll move back up to what your fingers are doing with your left hand. Okay, and again, I'll play it nice and slow so you can catch it all, and then we'll move it up to speed so you can hear what it should sound like all together at tempo. Okay, now here we go. And that's just a strum from the A string all the way back. Okay, so left hand is going to look like this. Watch closely, I have kind of fat fingers. I do apologize for that. Here we go. One more time. Okay? That is going to be, like I said, about 95% of this song. So if you master that part down, it's going to be pretty much cake from there. So moving on to part 2, and it's going to start off very similar to part 1, where you have that first finger, your index finger, on the 2nd fret of the A string. However, this is where it gets different. Okay, you're going to take your ring finger and put it on the 3rd fret of the B string. Okay, strum all 6 strings. That's what it should sound like, and this is what it looks like. Okay, and this, like I said, this is when it gets heavy, when the heavy guitars kick in, all that stuff. So what you're going to be doing is just a lot of, just like that. It's just up and downs. Really, really simple stuff. So what you're going to do is stay on, right? Okay, and then you do your walk up. Now the walk up is going to be in D over F sharp is what you're moving to, and what that looks like is you've got this E minor kind of thing that you're doing here, and you're going to keep this ring finger here on the 3rd fret of your B string, but you're going to add your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the G string to play kind of a D chord here, but you're also going to add your index finger on the 2nd fret of the E string to add that F sharp. So that is going to look like this. And then you switch right over to a G chord, which this version of the G chord is going to be your middle finger on 3rd fret of the low E string, index finger back to that 2nd fret on the A string, and then you're just going to keep your ring and your pinky both right here on the 3rd fret of the B string and the high E string. So that's your walk up, you know, the part of the song during the finger picking, which is a okay, but this is the full chord version, so it's going to sound like this. I'm going to slow it down for you, and we're going to listen to it real quick here. Okay, one more time, nice and slow. We're going to start with that E chord, then the D over F sharp, G, C, then you do a walk down where you take that index finger, put it back on your 2nd fret of the A string, and then after that you go back to that last chord that you play during the finger picking part, which is an A. So that 2nd half altogether, nice and slow, looks like this. Okay, all together, it's going to look like this. Just like that. So, I'm going to play it all kind of at speed here, and I'm going to transition into that strumming so you can kind of see how that build happens. Okay? Just like this. Seasons. So let me know if you have any questions, and I hope this was helpful and educational.